All right, that's it. But yeah.
Hey,
So
email me after too, so I can
what'd
read
you
out.
say?
So email it to me
Oh
after.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. But what was I saying? Okay, so let me.
Are you starting?
Okay, let me
Click on news.
open up some things. Okay, so let's start with when breath becomes air, shall we? Okay, so we just finished that. That book hit different, bro.
Hey, what'd you think?
Let's start from the top. Let me also I have it right here.
From the top. Watch it drop. That's
Okay.
one.
Something to say about that too. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I just have so much on my mind that I haven't told anyone in a long time. So like okay, but dude, this book was really good. Like I feel like books that actually focus on like the concept of death or even like being aware of it helps me like be a lot more aware of it in my day to day. You know, like when I was reading that book, like I was so much more grateful and aware of, oh shit, this shit's gonna end, as opposed to like when you're not really thinking about it, it's not on the forefront of your mind, you know?
Right.
But this is the biggest thing I got from the book. I have found my purpose or reason for why I read now. So I was for the longest time I was literally every week in the book club. I was like, why the fuck do I read? What the fuck is the point of this? Okay, so I figured it out. So they're talking about it in the prologue actually. And in this book, one thing I was thinking about was like what I got from this book is not any specific paragraph or anything like that. Like I feel like what I retained from that specific book is like after reading a page or something, I take the time to like think like, damn, that's crazy. And then whatever in that period of like self-reflection is what I keep with me, or like what actually like leaves some sort of mark as opposed to like a specific paragraph or word. So I realized like, damn, like maybe the what reading can be for me instead of like remembering every plot, everything, be like, okay, this situation happens, I can call up this book instead of like thinking about it more like that. It can be something like, okay, 30 minutes a day, set that time where through reading, you offer yourself a period of self reflection where you can try to understand and read through the book and just be at this place where you can talk to yourself, think to yourself. It's more like a meditation through words and through the story of somebody else or the plot of something else, as opposed to like, I want to do this for some other external purpose. It's just like for those peaceful 30 minutes where you're kind of engaging with yourself through this medium. And I was like, that gives me a much more clearly defined reason to why I read.
Mhm.
And I'd never thought about it like that. And that was the first time. And
So
now
you
I
use
read,
it as like a modality for like further self-understanding.
yes. And I've been loving reading. I've been reading Crime and Punishment. Oh my God. Dude, that book is literally orgasmic, bro. It's
Really?
so
That's
good.
Dostoevsky, right?
Yes, it's so
Is it
good.
crazy? I'm like, I
Dude,
never took
dude,
that shit.
like I have like never read a plot that just it's just so good. It's just the details is like the perfect amount. Like it's not too much, but it just flows. It just I I can't even like it's like I'm in that story. Like I'm in it.
Punishment, fuck. It's the move.
It's a move, bro. I feel like these Russian novels, even that one, the Moscow, the gentleman stuck in Moscow, like he's an American author, but he tried to like model one of these like big Russian literatures, but they like focus so much more on philosophy, bro. Like they like it's throughout the entire book. Every question, either the people are talking about philosophy or like there's like allusions to philosophy. It's like very present throughout the entire novel. I feel like I don't like a lot of the American novels like don't have that, you know?
Dostoevsky was a philosopher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
makes
that's
sense. Okay,
yeah.
that helps. That
That's why
helps.
it's so philosophically based.
That helps. But like, so is I know the War and Peace is a ton of philosophy too.
Right.
And yeah, man. I mean, I'm just like, wow. Like that's how I want. I love books. It's like you
I mean,
have that sprinkled
philosophical
in there.
underpinnings. Like you're not just reading them to like like for it to be frivolous. Like you're reading it for like some. Everybody has different reasons why they read. Some people read for fun. Some people read for self help so they can grow. In those types of ways, and some people read in a more philosophical sense to like really understand themselves and like take all of this wisdom and knowledge that these people have acquired over the years and use that as a reflection towards themselves and like use it as a tool to like understand themselves better. Like you have people like Dostoevsky who have spent God knows how much time thinking about life and morality and what it means to be a human, yada yada. And then you can come and understand that through him, like in that book, and like that's fucking a lifetime of wisdom that is just offered through you through like 500 pages or whatever the fuck that book is. Like that's like probably one of the most amazing gifts you could get.
Yeah, no, and like give honestly, like if that's what your ultimate like peak of what you created through your life, like that's so lit. Like
Yeah.
is nuts, man. But yeah, no, that book was, I've been just really reading good books recently, and that's been like making me a lot more excited to like live,
That's
you
like,
know. So it's been helpful. But yeah, so back to when breath comes to air, let's get back to that. So like, well,
yeah.
so okay, so like, did you see that text I sent in that group chat? I didn't understand that where he was talking about how like, and Chokesy kind of gave an explanation. I thought that was interesting what he said, but what do you think about that? Basically, how a
Yeah, no,
painless death. Yeah.
I get it. You know, it's so funny because that's the first time I've ever heard somebody reflect something that is the truth within myself.
Mm,
Because and I don't know if this is his reasoning, but this is just always been my reasoning. Like, you know, it's strange. Like I've always like, you know, talked to people about death, and people have always been like, oh, I'm just like, you know, I'm just scared of how I'm gonna die. And I'm like, to me, that seems like the most irrelevant feature. Like, you're gonna be dead pretty soon. So like, what does it matter? Like it doesn't really matter if you're in pain for 5 hours. Like you're gonna die. Like you're gonna be dead. Like it doesn't really matter. Like the point that matters to me is like death. Like that's actually the important thing. But like how you die to me like seems like genuinely kind of irrelevant. Like of course it'd be nice to like have a nice death, but at the same time, like it is, you know, I guess this is the best way I can describe it. Yeah. What does that sound?
sorry, it's just I was just playing some nice lo-fi. I love it.
Um, you know how our sun, you know, I'm gonna give a really basic example for relativity right now, but you know how our sun is pretty fucking gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's compared to, you know, Alpha Centauri, whatever, it's super tiny.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way I see it. It's like all of these pains in our life are really hard right now. But it's now when you put that pain next to this gigantic Alpha Centauri of death, it just seems so irrelevant. It seems so small, it seems so minute, it seems so insignificant. So for me, that like sharp contrast between how you're gonna die and then death coming, it just seems it makes how you're gonna die seem so like irrelevant and small.
Mm. Okay, so then why would okay, that's it. I'd never thought about it like that. That's facts. What but why would one be preferred over the other?
Like
A painful death be preferred over a painless one? Because that's what was so shocking. Because like
can
whenever
we say
people,
you prefer painful death?
yeah,
Oh, um, that I don't know why that would be preferred. I mean, I think something like you know what Chosky said
yeah,
is definitely like pretty relevant. And, you know, I think something about like not not robbing yourself of like the reality of like death, you know, like not
and
like feeling it like truly like and fully, you know. I could imagine that's something like that, like, you know, not numbing your senses.
yeah, and like feeling that fight,
Yeah,
you
exactly. That
know, like
just stay alive, like just like it's like, you know, it's like when you it's only bad if you view if death is viewed as a bad thing, then it's the case that you wouldn't want to feel going through it. But if we take away the perspective that death is something that's necessarily bad, then
dude, you're free then.
exactly, it's like why wouldn't I want to experience that? You know, like if we take away the perspective that pain is something that's necessarily bad, why wouldn't you want to experience that, right? Because
Yeah,
like that's just something we've been told, like, oh, pain is bad, always avoid it. You know, death is bad, always avoid it. But those are just perspectives. And I imagine someone who's as fucking genius as Paul, I believe his name was,
mm-hmm.
you know, it's definitely a lot more philosophically inclined to understand that pain, you know, it's just some response in the brain, but it's not anything that's objectively bad. Death is just something that's not objectively bad. So to numb ourselves of these is to numb ourselves of potentially the one of the most important experiences in life, which is death. You know, weirdly to say, like it's like you drink all night and then you have like this incredible experience or this really say imagine you have this one of the, you know, there's a bunch of different foundational moments in our life. There's birth, there's, you know, blah blah, there's marriage, there's death, you know. One of those is losing your virginity, right? And so let's say that you got really, really drunk and then lost your virginity and then just didn't like, you know, you just didn't feel it, you didn't remember it. You'd be like, fuck, like, damn, why did I just numb myself with that? You know, I never got to, I didn't get the chance to experience that. Of course, you're only going to think of that in retrospect, which maybe kind of counters this point because you won't have the ability to think about that in retrospect. But nonetheless, okay, so how do I answer that without a retrospectival view? maybe, you know, just your own experiential self in that moment is relevant enough, you know, like
Mm,
to think of, you know, I'm going through this, like this is what it means to do this, and like this is
mm,
gonna be my last experience, me feeling life fully instead of, you know, living a life that's numb.
yeah. And I guess like in that particular situation, like when he's actually dying, he can't really say the opposite. You know, you
Right.
can't be like, damn, I wish I was dead already. Like at that point you would have given up. So I feel like anybody who's like persevering through chemotherapy, all that, they have to have some sort of mindset like this is preferred to just dying.
Yeah, no,
You know, I guess like,
it's pretty crazy, honestly. Like,
yeah. No, I mean, thinking about like, dude, I wake up, one thing I do wake up every day differently now is I'm so grateful for health. Like it's great. Like, how do we have it so good? Like it doesn't make sense. Like how am I just so lucky? You know what I mean? Like I could have it so much worse in so many ways. Like every little body part. Like, dude, I just finished this other book called Body.
mhm.
I don't know anything about science, but this was the most interesting, best introduction I've had to like basic biology of the entire body in a really cool way, in a scientific way. And this was his whole purpose. We don't know shit. He wasn't going about it like, oh, look at all we know. He was like, he really made it seem like this is what we know and there's this much to know. And it was so dope because I loved that because we made it more like a puzzle. Like, oh, I want to be part of this. After I read it, I was like, I want to be a scientist. Like, what the I love science because of that one book. And like, and even that book, I was just like, wow, like with your mind, be it your ears, your eyes, every single thing, there's a gajillion things that could go wrong. And it just, as of this moment, it just luckily that just everything functions, and
Yeah,
it's like wow, like like what more could you ask for? You know what I mean? Like it's just I don't know.
I feel like some of the greatest times, you know, not the greatest, but some of the most grateful times that I have in my life are times where, like, you know, I'm like walking and I see somebody like in a wheelchair and I'm like, fuck, damn, like I'm really glad. Or I see someone blind, that always like hits every single time I see someone just like blind walking down the street.
Mm,
Fuck, I am so grateful that I have my eyes. And, you know, it's dope that we can experience those things in those moments. And, you know, use something so negative for something that, you know, is positive. But to be able to carry that perspective with you all the time, like that's like how you live a grateful, like happy life. Like truly,
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
always be aware of the fact that like, yo, I have eyes right now, I have ears right now, I have legs right now. Like, unfortunately, it's so hard to feel, you know, because of hedonic adaptation. Like the fact that our body's just like, like we're not, because you know, it's like when you break, I don't know if you ever broke a bone or sprained something, you know, but then like you get to walk on it again, you're like, oh, you know, like it's just we have to like constantly refresh that shit to ourselves, and like
Mm,
that's what books like that are so fucking cool because they're just a little refresh, you know, like
mm.
I remember
You
feeling the exact same when I was reading that. I was like, fuck, bro, like I can be a, you know, Stanford fucking neuroscientist and still get cancer and die. Like, fuck, like I need to
yeah,
be
this
grateful for every moment.
yeah. No, that book really, and honestly, this was one thing I was actually talking to my mom a little bit earlier about, and she was just talking about like, oh, like like how much better would your life be if you had like normal legs or whatnot, you know? And I feel like one thing that I'm actually really grateful for the experience that I've had with, my club feet or whatever is like that's something like where I'm walking or whenever I'm doing something, I'm like constantly aware of like, oh, like, my legs aren't like what it could be. And in a way, like even though yeah, it does suck in the physical aspect, I feel like mentally, like it has made me constantly aware of the fact that things are working because it's been fucked up and I know how easily it gets fucked up that like every moment I'm like my legs are working today like honestly, and I feel like that's why it's tough. It's like it's crazy how like the sucky things is really what makes life good, you know what I mean? So it's like how much sucky do you want to allow into your life before you're like nah, fuck this, I want some pleasure.
Well, facts, you know, and you know, some people would say that's the purpose of sucky things, you know, like you know, in a subjective experiential sense, I can't necessarily disagree. Like, yeah, exactly like you said, you know, having club feet, every time you walk, you're like, damn, I have the ability to walk. That's so dope, you know,
Yeah.
like I deal with like anxiety and depression, whatever. So it's like any day where like I wake up and I just feel like energized and like a weird sense of like peace within my heart, and I just kind of know I'm probably not gonna be anxious that day. I'm like, whoa, I get to live a normally healthy mind day. Like, wow, this is
Mm.
fucking crazy. And like, you know, when I have reactions to certain things, and like I, you know, or like certain people, like Brie, for example, you know, when she reacts to things a certain way or whatever, I'm just like, damn, what's it like to have no anxiety? Like that's fucking dope, you know, like shit. Like and then like it's not even like a jealous thing. Like I'm literally just like, wow, like that is so fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
And
at
it
the same time, like it makes you different. Like, not
Yeah.
as basic as
Yeah.
that. It really does make you different, and it offers you a complete unique experience that's just going to completely alter the already unique path that you had.
Big facts. And I think you do bring up an interesting point about the hedonic adaptation, because when I first heard it, I was like, okay, you're right. I realized that like regardless like of your situation or my situation, I'm gonna be aware of the things that I'm gonna be grateful for the things I'm aware of. So I may not be, I 100% won't be the same level of aware of my mental health day to day, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be as aware of I am of your calves or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would be nice, like there's so many things that I'm not even aware of are working properly that I can't even be grateful for them. I'm just like I don't even know that it could go wrong until it goes wrong, and then you're like, oh shit, that shit could go wrong.
That's,
You know?
yeah, no, and it's funny because there's two perspectives. It's like, fuck, there's so many things that we aren't aware of that could, like, like there's just like, oh, there's just so many things aware of that you could just never be grateful for everything, or you could take that journey and dead ass try and be grateful for everything,
Yeah.
which, like, I think is a sense of
Okay, you gotta pick it up. Who cares?
hey, I'll call you back in a little bit. Yeah, all right, bye. She's gonna call me. Sorry. So, I think that, for me, that's what a lot of learning and like knowledge is about. Like, it's me like paying a form of like gratitude to like the existence of like this thing. Like, for example, I don't know if I told you, but I'm working in like a lab that focuses on the gut microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
Say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's given me, like, just learning about the gut microbiome and the way that I have has given me such a weird appreciation for bacteria, like
Mm.
such a weird appreciation for like all of the like little functions that like your gut is doing. Like, and had I not learned about that, I had not been able to be grateful about that. So it's like, that's like one of the weird motivations to like learn from me, like, especially in like a biological sense. It's like, the more I can understand myself and how the world works, the more I can appreciate it.
Mm. Yeah, and yeah, when I read Stephen Hawking book about space, same thing. Like, but it's like that's honestly all knowledge is like, dude, like okay, quick diversion. So I just started working with a new kid today, and listen to what he said to me today. He said, "Bro, I love science," and I was like, "Oh, so why do you want to learn coding, or what is your background?" He's like, "I think it's so interesting. I really enjoy it." Dude, I have not heard that from a single human being in my life. Like,
Wow.
I have taught so many kids, not a single person has said, I am interested in this. I love it. And he's in 8th grade, bro. This man, he didn't know shit to begin the class. By the end of the class, he like had picked it up so quickly just because he cared, bro. I was like, you actually enjoy like, and it's just like, if you have that mindset, all of learning is interesting. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, like you will never hear somebody like that say, I don't need this for my major, I don't want to learn it. You'll never hear somebody like that say that type of shit, because in every single thing you can find something to improve your life in everything. And it's like,
Like,
yeah, and if you have that mindset, and the fact that he has that at age 13, like, who knows, how much he'll like. I only got that a little bit when I was like 22. You know what I mean? This man was
100%.
13, 14, liking knowledge. Like, wow.
Those are like,
And
if you like are doing just like, they're like fucking PhDs at like 22, and you're like, what? Like, how did you get that? I just had that from like a young age, and like,
yeah,
typically, it just takes like one or two people to like inspire that within a kid.
yeah, yeah. Just one person who's also interested in learning and doesn't make learning seem like something like, oh, I don't do it anymore. Like, I rather watch TV. Like, you have one person like that in your life, like it'll just motivate. I feel like it'll motivate other people to be like, I gotta get on my shit. I want to learn more. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah, no,
like
that's amazing, dude. Damn.
I was just like, wow, like, you inspired me. Like, damn, like, wow, like,
You gotta
this kid
fan the
was
flame.
awesome, huh?
So you gotta fan the flame.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I can't, like, I have more of a responsibility now, because it's even harder when they're already interested.
Right. Yeah. I
But
mean, like, there's you really have the like ability to like shape him.
yeah. But bro, I've been loving my job, man. Like, I've really been in a good, like, I love teaching. Like, I just love teaching. Like, I don't know, it makes me so fulfilled.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. So I definitely want to. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to. So, but yeah, like, Okay, so I got a lot to tell you. Okay, so why don't you go? You tell me something that's been on your mind, and I'll go next.
One, I just want to say I'm happy for you. I feel like it's rare you actually hear somebody say they're happy, doing something, and that type of excitement is very indicative of the fact that you probably found the field you want to be in. So that's pretty amazing.
Thank you, man.
Something that's been on my mind. Fuck.
A lot. A lot or not?
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard for me to connect with my past self sometimes.
We're not studying philosophy anymore, so it's all that crazy knowledge.
Yeah, no, it's just it's funny because I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to a few people these past couple of days, and they've kind of asked me something similar, and I'm just like, I've just alluded to like the clapping monkey, like just being in my head. Like I think that's what's going on all the time. I've just been really, really busy with this lab lately, like just super fucking busy. I'm like memorizing like an 18-page script for like one of my experiments, and it's
That's
just like
crazy.
it's as absurd as it sounds. And I've had like less than a week to do it actually.
Man,
It's just like ridiculous. So I've just been like literally all day, every day, like just
big
fucking.
actor? Ask your brother.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's literally what I'm doing. I'm just like, and it turns out that like, like it's so fucking weird and annoying, and I'm only halfway through it. And it's yeah, it's been a lot. So I've been doing a lot of that lately, and been doing a lot of work for my gut microbiome lab as well. Just like constantly reading research fucking papers like all day. So I've just been really in like what it means to like work lately and like develop a career path and
Nice, man.
work that it takes to get a PhD. Like I feel like I'm just like really getting like aware of like maybe this is like a quarter or like half of what what the work would look like in a PhD, and I'm just like fuck, this is kind of a lot. Like I'm realizing that like I am really okay. No, I got something here. This is something I was talking about for another day. Which is just kind of something we talked about before, but how I like, been thinking a lot, in my head a lot, yada, yada, but like my ability to execute has just been lacking, that whole topic. And just how, it was very clear to me the other day that like, I'm not the person who I need to be like be a clinical psychologist and like pass my PhD. Like that person, yeah, like it's just not, it's not like who I am right now. Like that's just not who it is. Like I've not been disciplined enough. I've not been focused enough. I realized that like, I don't really know what it means to like sacrifice. Like it's strange. Like I really think I have like some of the worst FOMO of like anyone I've ever met. Like I'm just like constantly scared of like missing out on shit. And that like it's weird because I think of myself with someone a lot of self-discipline, but then in so many instances I lack like the most basic self-discipline and boundaries. And I've just been trying to figure out what that is. And I realize it's cognitive dissonance between me wanting to be someone who's disciplined. So I'll go a whole month without masturbating, or right now I'm doing keto for a month. I'll do those types of things. And those are just with me. I'm really good with doing shit with myself. But now when it comes to things with others, that FOMO, that's that cognitive. I'll be like, oh, I have to study for this. And someone's like, hey, bro, you want to fucking play League or you want to go to a brewery? And I'm like, fuck, like, I'm like not trying to make both work. Like, and it's so bad. So I've been realizing that like the person who is going to become a PhD clinical psychologist forever, have that. That's something. And I've found my inability to not sacrifice, or like to not be able to sacrifice for things, has kind of come from me being a kid. Like I realized like I sacrificed so much as a kid, and I seen my mom sacrifice so much all the time that I kind of strayed away from that mindset. Like I don't want to sacrifice anymore. I've seen so much sacrifice. I've given so much sacrifice. Like I'm tired of sacrificing. Like I just want to like live. I want it all. I want every experience. But I realized like I've just been making a false association with sacrifice. I've been associating sacrifice with my mom. Like, okay, she sacrificed her whole life and she was miserable, But the thing is like, so why are you sacrificing that? I think is really important. Like my mom was sacrificing because she was a dumbass and just didn't make good decisions, But when you're sacrificing for something greater, good, it's something that hopefully in the long run. And that's when the context and the intention and the function of sacrifice is just a completely different thing. It's a completely different structure. And so I've been really avoidant of sacrifice because of the anxiety that's kind of given me because of the way I've seen my mom's life go. And so I'm just like, no, I don't want to sacrifice my life. I want to just like live. But in reality, I'm starting to realize like if I ever how I talk about I want to be great all the time. Like genuinely, like I talk about I want to be great. Like I really do. Like motherfuckers who are great are not turning up every fucking weekend. You know, like they're fucking down, bro. Like they're focusing on. You know, it's pathetic. Like you know, can't go at least 6 months, a year, like drinking and turning up. You know, like at least that's only one crap. And you know, I just realized like I really am gonna have to like come to understand and become attuned to and develop a love for sacrifice if I actually want to like become this great clinical psychologist that I want to be. So that's been on my mind lately.
That's big, man. That's like I feel like that's like a pretty transitionary phase in your life.
I hope it is. I hope it's
Yeah,
time.
I feel like those are the inklings of the thoughts that create change. You know, like knowing that I need to be better. Like that's what you know. Like I feel
Exactly.
like that's the start of everything. Because once that's there, and like you were saying earlier, like you're disciplined for other things, it's like the rest are gonna just fall. And I was actually gonna tell you before you start talking about this, like something that you know I like from when I met you a year like 2 years ago when you were in school as opposed to now. It's like really like you should know and be like I'm appreciating you that I see that like all the stuff that you've been doing recently has all been like self-started stuff. You know, like everything you've done, like nobody's pushed you, like you didn't have to, like, but you've like taken it all upon yourself. So that's like very like good for you, man. Because like I remember even when you were back in school, you're like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like I know philosophy, like what am I gonna do with this? And it's like cool to see that like from there,
Right.
like all that you took on yourself and ended up doing yourself. Because you could have just went and gotten a job or tried to do something else, but you decided that this was the way for you to go and still push through. So hey,
I appreciate that. I honestly haven't really like thought about the perspective that it's it has been like a self-started thing, and like I realize like I study philosophy, dog. Like if I don't make it, like I'm just as my experience is equivalent to the manager at Bonds, dog. Like that's pretty much like that's like what I can do. Like I really gave myself like a no fucking turning back thing. Like it was kind of like it's kind of intentional. Like I was like, look, like you're not gonna be able to do shit with this bachelor's. Like you're gonna literally have to pursue a higher education. Like you just fucking have to. Like that's it. So yeah, like and I understand that like when you put yourself in those situations where the ground beneath you is slowly crumbling and you stare down into the pit of mediocrity and you have to take that leap onto the other side of greatness and change and growth, and it's slowly crumbling and there's only so much longer that you can be on that fucking cliff before you have to take the jump. It's the scariest thing ever. And I was like standing on like crumbs, bro, before I was just like, yeah, and I'm still in the air right now. Like, like I'm just like flying over and I'm still looking down at the mediocrity, like, and I'm seeing all my friends who just like had dreams that like they wanted to pursue and just like gave up on them. And I'm just like looking out to all of them and they're just like, like trying to reach out at me. And I'm just like, no, like I got another like
literally,
2.5
bro.
years before I just like grab onto the ledge. And then I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to like pull myself up and like walk over onto the other side and experience what that's like. And sorry, my brain works in like movie scenes all the time, but that's like how I picture fucking, my experiences right now. And I just feel like I just jumped off the ledge and I'm just like, oh fuck. And I'm like, I'm going.
no, that's literally what going to grad school feels like. Because it's like I don't know what's on the other side of this. So I hope it's
Yeah.
something cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I'm excited, bro. Like I feel like people like you like knowing at least one person who's also on a similar grind honestly helps. And because of me, one of my family friends also is like fuck my job and is now getting her master's too. So
Hey,
I feel
fucking
like
nice.
I feel like we gotta just push each other out because like the application process is daunting, but now looking back at it, I was like, damn, I was so scared of the whole process. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to take a test and then apply and everything. Finished in a month, and like now looking back at it, I was like, all right, that shit was kind of lit. Like it was nothing.
Bro, honestly, like you are someone who pops in my head a lot on this journey because like, being able to be around you during your whole process was like inspiring as fuck. Like, I haven't been around a lot of people in my life who work very hard, to be honest. And then maybe they do in like unique ways, but being able to like see you, especially towards school. You know, I've seen a lot of people like work like hard at their like, 9 to 5, or they're like, fucking flipping burgers or whatever. Like not to put that down, but I feel like there is this different kind of like when you pop into the job and like you got to do something, like you literally there, you're getting paid, you're doing what you have to do. But like like it takes such a strong amount of like being able to picture yourself on the other side of all of this work that you're doing right now. You're not getting any payoff from that shit. You're
Yeah.
not getting payoff. It just, the only payoff is the idea to picture yourself on the other side of it. That's the only payoff. Like your will and your ability to like trust in your imagination and those ideas has to be so fucking powerful that you can literally, and not just like do the bare minimum, because this is what I realized about myself. This was actually a really big epiphany that I had. I have been doing the bare minimum, like I've been doing the like bare minimum to pass. And because I've been not getting the consequences of that, because once you do the bare minimum, like it's just enough to escape the consequences. So I've been like, oh, like, worst that can happen, like I just passed the worst that can happen. But the thing is, what I haven't been thinking about is another consequence, which is missing the best that can happen.
That's facts.
And I'm not thinking about what's the best that can happen and how I missed that. What I wasn't understanding is that I'm missing so many things by not doing the best, by not doing the most. Like I'm missing the best that can happen, and the best that can happen, and someone being like, oh, if I miss the best that can happen, that means that I missed the worst that can happen. Or that means I got the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
That's the mindset of the greats. Those are the people who are actually going to be doing great things. And I realize like, I haven't been in that mindset. I've been in the mindset of like, let me just like barely do this assignment. Like, no, bro, it has to be like, do this assignment so fucking well that when you show it to this, like, oh, fuck. Like, I want you to work with me. I want you to be on this thing. Like, that's doing the best. That's what it needs to be the greatest.
Yeah.
And that's what you did, like literally you like everywhere you went, you had your fucking note cards everywhere you went.
That's funny.
Being serious, it was generally really inspiring. And like, I feel like I think a lot about this process, and I think to you, like, I'm like, Gotham did it, I can do it, Gotham did it.
No, for sure.
And like, you fucking, like, you didn't just do it. Like, you didn't just like, just get it done. You didn't just like kind of study. All right, I got an average score. Like, no, bro, you fucking killed it. You got into literally the school of your dreams. Like, you killed it, practically got into every fucking grad school there is. And like, now you're just like murdering it. Like, and it's very impressive and it's very inspiring. And like, just want you to know that like, I definitely like look up to you in that aspect, like for sure.
Thank you, man. And honestly, even looking back at it, I was like, dude, I can't believe I did that. Like, that was like a different me back then. I was like, wow, like, because that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so like when I've been talking to some of the professors and stuff, and I realized like, damn, like, especially when you get on that research track, it's all just your interest. Like, nobody pushes you. You're not like, I could go to master's, just finish all my classes and graduate, and I would have gotten literally nothing for the money that I put into it, Like, if I want, and that's what I realized about undergrad, like, I wasted so much money just because my whole freshman, sophomore, junior year, I went to school, finished my classes, came back home. I didn't use advantage of the professors there, the research facilities. I didn't actually, like, I was at such a crazy institution, but like, I just like went to class and came home. I could have done that online. And you can get through your master's, PhD pretty similar, like not your PhD, but at least with your master's, pretty similarly, where you just go to class and come back. So it's all like on me now to like, and when it comes to you, then you could put in a ton of effort, like so much effort, like that's in
that mindset of like, I'm not just going to go to class and go home. Because again, I just missed the worst, which is like failing my classes. Like, no, what is the best? Like you said, talking to your teachers all the time, getting as many research opportunities as you can, getting put in as many good networking situations as you can. It's like masters, like that's a place where like people are like really, really looking for those types of, students.
Yeah.
Are you realizing that now? Like, already know you're going to like.
Yeah, I'm excited. I found this, like, have you heard of like the Rand Corporation? I've been hearing that everywhere, but apparently it's like one of the craziest like research organizations that was like founded by the government during World War II that's still been running, and they do like all types of crazy research. And I've been like they're stationed in DC, so my ultimate goal is to work for there because they do some crazy education shit. So if I could like, so I'm speaking that out right now. That's my goal. So being a professor, so I've been talking to a lot of the professors, and what they seem to do is they work and they teach. So like, because I've been thinking a lot about like, how am I going to get the bag? Because I do want to get the bag, because I feel like I'm something that could get the bag. Like, I do want to get the bag. So I'm like,
need the bag.
And I'm like, damn, like a lot of these professors teach like 3-4 days and then also work, whether it's research or whatever, but they get paid to do a lot to do that other stuff. So I was like, okay, that's lit. Like, that's a good goal for me to have then,
I was thinking about in relation to money the other day, because I was just like, thinking about like just how like the importance of money, like, and you know how much like my entire life I'm like, nah, it doesn't matter, but like it really does. I was just thinking about success, you know, and like people are like, oh, like just because you have like, you know, money doesn't equate success, like whatever, you know, like you can look at someone who's like, uh, you know, who doesn't have money and like they can still be successful. But like what I realized is like someone can like someone can look at someone who like doesn't have a lot of money and like be like, oh, they're unsuccessful, but like you can never look at someone with a shit ton of money and say that. Like it just doesn't work. So like to define success, like it seems very, very much so that it requires money. Like I don't think anyone's looking at like a millionaire and being like, nah, they're not successful. Like it's like, yeah, they are. Like, you know, even if they're depressed, even if they're not, like it's hard to be like they're not successful because they just are. And I was like, shit, like that is so I realized that is actually so intertwined, at least in the social you know, popular view of like success, that like it just kind of seems inherent to what it means. Like,
Yeah.
you got to get the bag, you know,
Yeah.
like you do. Like
I think what changed it for me is like I hit this point where I realized like when people talk about money, they just talk about what money can do for them. They never talk about what money can do societally. Like if I have money, like the power of money is not buying a nice car and a big house. It's like I can fund my own research. I can fund whatever I want to study. If I want to donate into cancer research and I have cancer, I can donate all my money to a specific cancer research to speed up maybe, you know, like there's a lot of power that comes with money that I feel like people, when people talk about money, that they don't talk about that aspect of it, you know, because you can change the world with money. But you know,
if I become a millionaire doing whatever the fuck, like I can fund any type of psychology research that I fucking want on a gigantic scale, you know? Like whatever I want to put money into, you know, how fucking black people are affected by anxiety and this, like I can do it, you know, like exactly. Like if I want to go to Africa and build a fucking school, I can do it. You know, if I want to go to the hood and create a fucking mental health program, I can do it by myself, you know, like you're
yeah.
totally right. Like it is power. It just
And
is.
that part is slept on, I feel like super hard.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think most people are in it for themselves, and that's why I think when you're in it for others, the price is almost like higher, you know?
Yeah. The
Like the
price
price
is way
is
higher.
higher because you're
Yeah.
letting down potentially millions,
Yeah.
thousands.
It's
You
not
know?
just you. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to explain to my parents. I'm like, look, if your entire measurement of how well you did is just supporting your family, your bar is set so low,
Right.
you know, and it's just like, and it's like,
Exactly.
it's just a low bar to set because like I've just been having a lot of conversation with my parents recently, not even recently, before. Long story short, this is what happened. So I went home. My dad just says the most toxic shit with the right intent, but he just says like just dumb shit like that is very like demeaning, like very demeaning. It just shows a certain level of lack of respect. And I told him, I was like, hey, like I feel like a lot of times when we have these conversations, the way you speak to me is as if we're like the same age, you know, like we're both 23 or 24. Like when I come to you with these things, like I need you to remember the fact that, you know, you are twice my age, like to come with it with a certain level of like wisdom and maturity of like why I'm coming to you. And I basically told him like, hey, like you've been doing this repeatedly for a couple years, so I do want to distance myself from you. I'm not going to talk to you, you know, for a while. And so I didn't talk to him for like 3 weeks, and like after that, like this actually just happened. I actually just talked to him like a week ago, and like I think he got it. I think like that idea of like, oh, like I could actually like not talk to him that much anymore actually like hit him, like because he knew what he said was wrong, but I really wanted to make sure that it like stuck with him, you know, like you can't speak to me like that anymore because it really like demeans me as all my work ethic, everything that I believe in myself, you demean all of that. And so like I think the message you got across this time.
Wow.
Yeah. I hope
Oh,
it does so.
boundaries. You're good
Yeah.
with boundaries. Like you really are. Like that's fire, bro. Like that's no fucking easy task, especially because, you know, from what I know personally, is that your dad is the person who you look up to more than anyone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the person you want to be accepted by more than anybody. So to be able to like say that, like that's as much a huge thing as it is for you as it is for him, you know? Like that's fucking crazy. Damn. You go, bro, honestly.
Yeah, no, I was really sad because you know when that one person that you really value says something, it's like, damn, you said that shit. Fuck. Who would you
Yeah.
say is that for you in your life?
I think my brother, to be honest.
Mm,
I really could, that's the easiest person who pops up in my head. Like I looked up to him as such a such a powerful force and figure in my life and such a role model. And it's a little bit different, because he does have like psychological issues. So like it's hard to determine what is that and what is his self, or maybe they're both intertwined. I don't know. But like there definitely became a point in time where we just started getting older and I just started becoming a little wiser, and I started realizing that like he wasn't as like smart as I thought he was, as like aware as I thought he was, and he wasn't as like good as I thought he was, and actually started realizing that he's actually like kind of a bad person. Like he actually like really does have like super narcissistic qualities. Like he really like makes the world his enemy and like makes me view the world as my enemy, and like I just started realizing like he really wasn't that great of an influence. Like probably the biggest moment for me in which I can remember that is we were just talking about race. I don't know if I've told you this already.
This one you haven't.
We were talking about race, and he was pretty much telling me that like he's just kind of losing hope on like the possibility of like or the idea that like black people are it's getting any better for black people. And he pretty much told me that he told me that there are no good white, like there's no such thing as like a white person who like isn't racist. He was like, every single white person out there is racist, like every single one. Like there's no such thing as a white person who isn't racist. And I was just like, well, I mean, and luckily I was at college at this point in time, so I've learned enough to just not be like, oh, okay, cool. And that's like one of the biggest things. Like honestly, like one, he's a really good debater. So like taking philosophy got me to a point where like I just could like whop him in debates, and like that became so different because I was like, oh, like you actually don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Or he would do things and I was like, wow, these patterns that you use in arguments are so like they're constant. Like you're constantly doing ad hominem abusives into this and then using skepticism to do that. Like it's actually not that like crazy. Like, and so I just started to be able to see all these things, and I was like, oh, like that's not like you're not good. Like you're not good at arguing like at all. And then like he would like, so anyways, he made this point and I was just like, well, I think that everybody has like biases, that are just kind of ingrained in society. Like everybody has like, an intrinsic bias, like towards like, I have an intrinsic bias towards black people, like everybody does. Like that's just like because of the society we grew up in. But like to say they're racist precludes that they have some type of like malicious intent towards like black people. And I was like, and I don't think that's true at all. And he was just like, what? Like you don't think that's fucking true? Like who? Name one fucking white person. I was like, my roommate John, like I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Which one? I was like, dude, he's like such a nice dude. Like he literally is like come to me and ask me so many questions about like black struggles and like what it's like. Like his best friend is black. Like he's literally like reading like books by like black authors to like get to understand their struggle. Like he's a Christian man, so like he really believes in like love and like treating everybody like how Jesus would and blah blah blah. And I was like, I truly believe that's one person I can point to that like doesn't have any like racist intent in him. Like yeah, he has bias, but like that's it. He just fucking started screaming at me. He was like, you're a fucking dumbass. Like, you don't know shit. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're fucking ignorant. You're just as ignorant as everybody else, yada, yada, yada. And then just like hung up on me. And we didn't talk for a couple weeks after that. And I remember being like, whoa, like, damn, this guy's not who I thought he was, like, at all. And like, I just lost a huge amount of respect for him then. The way he started treating my sister, just everything, man. The whole like fallout of who he was. And yeah, I really just noticed that like, they say you don't get to know your idols too well, and that's kind of just, I think, what happened. Like I grew up and now I just look at him and I'm like, I still love him and, I have so much respect.
But they're humanized. They're no longer like on a pedestal. No, I feel that.
That pedestal is just fucking ripped out. And I'm glad he did. I'm really glad he did it. It really showed me that like, you shouldn't pedestalize anybody.
Anyone. And that's facts. Like I see even my dad now, like eye to eye, like, okay, like we are all, going through this kind of blind. So, like you're not like you haven't figured it out or something.
As you start becoming more aware and more of an adult, you can just kind of see how much like they're just kind of like bullshitting, like I don't know. Like, especially just like philosophy. I feel like there's just this unique there's just this unique like you've now come to see like the other side of everything. Like you've come
a little bit
bullshit so well.
Yeah.
That like just like you come to understand how much people don't know shit.
Yeah, just
reading books about people constantly talking about we don't know.
Yeah, that's all.
And then someone like pulls up and you're like, I know, and you're just like, fuck up, bro. Like, no.
I literally, thank you. Like that. That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, like that's it. Like
tell anybody that.
Like, you can't. No, literally, dude. I got in that exact argument today. So the person that I'm staying with. The wife was basically talking about like she knows the universe that she she's talking about how she understands some universal truths about human nature. And I was just like, and I brought up all the stuff, but it's just like, it's hard to really
Or the truth.
like, it was an interesting conversation actually, but what we were talking about is like parents telling children what to do.
Okay.
And I was talking, because we've been talking about similar things like that. And she was just talking about how like that's something that's like inherent and that is like, that will always be true. And I was just saying that like it's almost impossible to ever know if anything is like that level of like truth, you know? And that's all my entire point was. But I just felt like the conversation just went like because like to accept that truth even remotely is to unlearn everything you've learned. You know, once you start believing that there aren't some sort of these like truths, because a lot of people live their lives based on like, this is what a good life is, this is 100% what a good life is. If you start even slightly believing that I don't actually know what is 100% true, you have to unlearn everything. So even the slightest intrusion of that thought, like you're kind of fucked, especially if you live your life very structurally, you know, or traditionally. So it's like I feel like it's that thought is not just for that conversation, it's like for your entire life.
Totally. It's
So
like,
it's like,
you know, you see a little like string that like represents like an idea, and you're like, oh, like this, I can just pull this, you know, and like you pull in like just like more and more shit.
everything, yeah.
Oh fuck, that's way heavier than I thought it was.
No, like dude,
yeah, I remember learning that with my boy John. Like I remember we talked about Christianity and yada yada. There'd be some times where like I just felt like it was very clear he was wrong, and he just wouldn't be able to accept that. And I just realized, I was like, oh dude, if you like accept that like Christianity is not a thing, like that is like huge for you. Like that is
yeah.
fucking huge. Like your entire foundation, the community in which you surrounded with, all of your friends, your family, like all of those things are now coming to question. Like that
Yeah.
mode, your brain will literally not allow you to separate from that shit. Your brain's gonna be like, no, this hurts too bad, bro. Like I'll literally make you see Jesus in front of you before I fucking rip that shit away from you, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, no, because dude, my mom, I think after I just the main difference that I had made her kind of see is that it is almost impossible for you to determine like who is good and who is bad. You know what she told me? She just told me this recently. I was so dude, after that, I was like, honestly, my mom is lit. So one of our family friends, and this is something I've noticed in a lot of children recently, actually, this concept of like good guy, bad guy. You watch like Spider-Man, you watch these things, it makes the world seem like it's split into two. You're good guys and you're bad guys. So my mom was actually with one of her cousins, and she had said something about like, oh, like we don't like the bad people, or we don't like. There was like a story that they were reading, and she's like, she's a bad guy, right? And my mom had told her there are no good and bad people. They're just people who make bad decisions. And I was like, but even that for my mom to say is like literally like mind blowing. And I was like, I'm so proud of you for saying that. Like, not being like coming from before she used to, you know what she used to say back in the day? She was like, I have a really good tell of who's a good person, who's a bad person. She used to strongly believe that. So for her to go from that to coming to a point where she's like, there, you know, we cannot tell who are good people and bad people. They're just actions you may not like. That's huge. And I was like, wow, like that one thing I think has made my mom look at the world completely differently. Where it's like, oh, like I don't,
Talking to her?
yeah, like completely.
That's
and
great.
and I'm like, what? Like I was just like, damn, that changes the way you look at everything. You know, like that's one specific thing where you don't act like you're the determinant of who's good and who's bad. Changes your life on everything. Like you become a different human being.
No, you're totally right. Like literally, you're gonna walk around and view the world differently. Like
Yeah,
humans are, social creatures, and so when your relationship with social interactions or social relationships changes, it's like you fundamentally change. Like
yeah,
that's facts. Wow, that's crazy. Damn, that's dope, dude. Good shit, bro.
yeah. I mean, yeah, no,
That's wisdom.
but more than that, it's like it really shows how like I think like and I've noticed this at least a lot more with women than with men, but they're a lot more uh like they listen more than like just like immediately be like, I know what's right, you're wrong. Like for my mom to make that change is like crazy for like someone from an Indian culture to do that. And I'm just like, wow, like I want, what is that? Because I want to also make sure I have that. You know, I never want to feel like I know what is right, because I feel like that's a really dangerous, scary slope to fall, hole to fall into.
I think that. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm pretty fucking young. I just don't know shit. That's the crazy
Yeah.
part. I know. It's crazy. But I was talking to Bree the other day, and we were just talking about how our majors affect our life.
Mm,
We were just like, I was just like, what would I be like if I never studied philosophy? And I was just like, I literally wouldn't be me. Like, holy crap. Like, I dead ass would not be me, like, at fucking all. Like, I just, whoever Mylon is would be like, she was like, yeah, but I feel like you'd still be like really like thoughtful and like analytical. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I always was like that before I studied philosophy. Like, that is what got me to study it in the first place. But like, that's like saying, you know, a fucking, it's an analogy. That's like saying you know, the building in downtown, the highest building in downtown is like a skyscraper, you know, like I was just like I was so like, that took me and just made me like completely different, like, you know, completely like, yeah, I was a thinker, but like it just took me to a completely different level. And now it's like, I truly feel like that is so weaved into my identity and to who I am that I don't know if I could ever lose that, you know. I maybe
or
I would
want to.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, like literally the last line in the book Black Skin, White Masks by Frantz Fanon, the Black existentialist, is, "Oh my body, please always make me a man who questions." And like, I'll always feel that, like, dead ass. Like, that is one of my favorite lines. That and another line, which is irrelevant to this conversation, are like two of my favorite lines in the entire book. And I hope I don't ever forget that, because I do forget a lot of shit that I read. But that is one of the lines that I read, and I was like, so is this one of those things that I get tatted on me, or like, what do I do? It seems like pretty, you know?
Yeah, no, that's sick, man. Please, oh body.
Oh my body, please always make me a man who questions.
Damn.
I think
That's
you
facts,
just,
though. That's
honestly,
facts.
check him out, Frantz Fanon, because he's just like
Yeah, let me write that.
one of the
Frantz
only
Fanon.
black. He's actually probably the only black philosopher that I know of, at least.
Okay, where are we going?
It was crazy. Like, he was like making like Sartre like question his shit. Like,
Dang.
he was very controversial how he died. A lot of people think he might have been taken out by the government. But the way he writes philosophy is the most beautiful writing of philosophy I think I've ever seen. Like, he writes so poetically, it's crazy. Like, you feel like you're reading poetry more than philosophy.
I mean, yeah, that line is
and
poetry.
I was just like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that line is poetry.
This shit is lagging hard.
Yeah, there's hella bad lag. Is it my end or your end? There's hella bad lag. Is it my end or your end?
I don't know. You know what I think it could be? It could be that my laptop is dying, potentially.
Oh, you need a charger?
Yeah, I'll get my charger.
Oh, you need a charger?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I'll charge it too.
Hello, I'll pretend. Let's see.
Looks better now.
Let's see. Got it locked in now. All right, yeah, that was my
awesome.
Little bitch. Anyways, yeah, the way he writes philosophy is super fucking poetic, super beautiful. Definitely a really, really good read.
Let me get my pen. Oh, here it is. Okay, I have a couple questions for you. Yeah, okay. So I had this weird situation recently, and I want to get your thought on it. Okay.
The WAP?
So,
What'd you say? The WAP?
No. I need. Oh yeah, let me write that down. I need to also bring that up with you right next. So, dude, like these last 3 weeks, it's just like I've been in the perfect space where I have time, like my needs are met. I'm like a good place to just like think and like really get good ideas out. But so one thing I was thinking about. Okay, this happened to me actually. I want to hear what you think about this. Okay, so there's a kid that lives here. I mean, obviously, and his name is Manas, right? And okay, so here's the thing, right? He occasionally lets some pretty racist things slip. He's only 5 years old, but he occasionally says some pretty racist things. And one thing that he said recently, and this is the one that I remember the most, was he's like, we were just playing a stupid game, and he was just like, you stole it from me, you stole it to me. And he's like, and then somehow he said, you're a thief because you're brown. Like, And I was like, I took him very seriously. I was like, what do you like? You're also brown. What do you think? He's like, no, I'm peach. You're brown. And like, long story short, it was just like, and it was not just that only time. If it was only that one time, it would have been like whatever. But there was a few other times before where he had said something about like being brown as being like less, or being darker as being less, like or like, and I was just thinking about it. But one thing is, I 100% had those feelings as well growing up. Right, darker is worse. One big part of that for sure is Indian movies. Like Indian movies, 100%. All the funny people who are like Indian movies are really good at like showing really troll scenes, like funny scenes, but the comedians are always dark, and like the really good looking people are always light. Like it's just 100, like, but it's like you don't even have to say anything. If you just watch that in movies from the growing up, like that 100% imprints that at least message in your head, because they make it so different. Because it's not like shades of dark. It's like the white is hell and the dark is hell, and it's like they make it so like if poor people are darker, like it just like so it's just like damn, like what can you do, and can you even be upset at a child for saying something like that? Like I was just so taken aback. I was like, wow, like that is so like absurd that you said that to me.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, wow, like I don't know what to say. Like, shit, am I allowed to not like someone for saying, like, am I allowed to be mad, or it's like you're too young, so I can't really be like, no, I can't say that. Like, I was really like, I was kind of hurt. I was like, damn, like that's actually kind of mean. Like,
Right,
that's a mean thing to say to somebody.
right,
Like holding that thought is one thing, but to say that to somebody is definitely very mean. Like,
right. And kids unfortunately are super impressionable and they can absorb. Studies show that they can absorb racist attitudes and kind of understand like racial hierarchies at ages like 4 and 5. Like they absorb that shit so quick. They did this like one study I remember with like these kids like pulling like a red wagon, and like it was like a white kid, like a black kid, and like some couple other kids, and like the the white kid like grabs the wagon and is like, yeah, I get to pull the wagon, I get to lead because I'm white, and like pulls like the kids, and like the black kid's like, yeah, I get to get in the back because I'm black. Like that's just like how it works. Or like, or he's like, she's like, you pull me, like that. But anyways, yeah, no, these kids adopt these attitudes like really, really fucking early, and it's being mad at it is like the equivalent of being mad for a canvas for having a black line on it. It's just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like and then the line's there, but it's like, what are you going to turn that line into?
yeah. Like, what can you do? Like, how do you? Yeah,
And addressing it with kids is unique, because you can't tell them like race doesn't exist. When you look at genetic differences between like it's so fucking hard to explain
yeah.
shit
Like, how do you explain? Yeah, how? Because like the thing is, you can't say that you're not allowed to say what you're saying, because that just says, oh, I'm not allowed to say it. But that's different than I'm not supposed to think it.
that might make them want to say more.
Exactly. So I didn't know how to go about it. I was like, because he was afraid that I was going to tell his parents. I was like, I'm not going to tell your parents, but like, like I don't know
Yeah,
how to get point to the point that what you said was really, really mean.
I gotta be honest with you. I think your reaction, could definitely be something that deters him in the future. But I this is something I struggle with Dylan too. Like explaining to him the differences in what race means and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, white people, treated black people like this for this long because their color of skin. Is like, why? And I'm just like, oh, because the skin color. Is like, why? Like, why? What? Like, why? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, and so like, I do think there are definitely probably some really good resources out there about talking about race with kids that you can probably look up. That like probably talk about like a good way to like explain it in a way that's like simple. How old is he?
5.
5, yeah. Fucking that's hard. In a way that like is helpful and like but not like too much. Like
Yeah.
I recommend looking to something like that because honestly, I really don't. I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck you'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was very taken. Yeah. I was just like, damn. No, but the thing is, it's like, it's just like, it's one thing to like go into it with an open mind, but like to already at to feel like it's just different. Like I just feel like the movies, like I can't explain how like evident, like they don't even try to hide it. It's not even like hidden. Like it's in the songs. It's like, oh, like it's in the ads. Like you put soap on, you become white. Like, oh, like it's so like outwardly racist there. It's not even like hidden, where it's like, oh, subtle. Like it's very obvious. Like people will literally say, oh, you're marrying a light skinned girl. Like you're good for you. You moved up. Like it's like just there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's some way you could explain that to him. Like, look, like, like the people who have, controlled Oh, there's no way to do it. Honestly, you gotta look it up, bro. I don't know. I'm not smart enough. I'm literally not smart enough.
That's hella hard. That's so
That
hard.
requires a high level brain that like
Yeah.
can. That's why I stopped working with kids. I realized like I just don't think I'm smart enough. Like I can't
Yeah.
break it down to kids in a way that like it gets the point across. You know, it takes
Yeah.
just a super brain.
Yeah. And a lot it's like you have to see powerful dark-skinned people.
Hey,
Hey, damn, we should put on some weight, bro.
Gain weight?
We should. You've been eating, dog.
Oh, bro, because I sprained my ankle, so I've been just like bedridden for like a couple weeks.
What happened?
Oh,
Basketball?
what happened?
Nah, there's like a pothole in the ground in the park.
Oh
I'm like,
no, the
like,
one right next to our house. The one
I
right next to.
made the shot too, and I landed in the pothole.
How you been, man? That beard be looking nice now. It's getting nice and you looking homely.
I've been letting myself go, bro. I gotta fucking trim it.
I'm thinking about. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about sliding through in next month or the month after. It'll be lit.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah, next
Yeah.
month.
How long?
I mean, how long can I stay for a week?
You can stay for a month.
I mean, don't tell me, don't tell me, dog. Don't tell me, dog.
Max?
I mean, I mean, there's not space, is there?
I mean, you made it work last time.
I did. I mean, yeah. But you guys think about it. Don't ask me. I'm down. You guys talk, and see if there's space.
I mean, if you want to sleep in the middle of, you like sleep on the floor, right?
That's
Yeah, minus shoes room, like we don't give a fuck.
Okay. I mean, shit. I mean, yeah. I'll hit you guys back up. I'm actually pretty down.
What? Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. And, what'd you say?
When are you coming?
I don't know yet. I have to figure it out. I'm flying back from Boston probably next week. So I'm moving in July. So somewhere before then. So before July, after in the either end of
Columbia or to Washington.
yeah.
DC? Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Big Washington things. You guys are welcome anytime, bro. Anytime you guys are in the East Coast.
I've been there before.
Yeah, I'm excited. Abraham Lincoln Monument, slide through, dog.
Hey, you got. I'm trying to remember. You got in Georgia, right?
Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Yeah. But yeah. But okay, so that was one thing that was on my mind. Okay, so I got another thing I gotta ask you. Okay, so let me tell you about that walk thing now. Okay, so I was listening to I've been listening to few things. I have made a lot of progress on my masturbation, that whole thing. The thing is, I think I oversimplified how deep that problem was.
Mm.
That problem is not just a surface level, like, oh, you have a masturbation issue. I think it's a really deep, like, I think it is a fundamental part of my characteristic or like who I am, like just not just masturbation, but my ideology towards sex, all of that whole, like, I think that is like a symptom, but so I've dug significantly deeper in that hole. And I think the day that I fully become in control of my sexual urges and all things, I think that's the day I will feel like a new man. I will feel like a man then. I really feel like a man. But one thing that I noticed is, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed was like, damn, like, I think that there's so many like subtle cues throughout my day that like just like spark tiny little like sexual images or sexual like just like flashbacks or something. Yeah, just like even if it's colors, you know what I mean? Even if it's like nice colors, like small things that just like beep beep beep. Like when you normally look at normal world things, that doesn't happen. That only comes from media and my computer, because there it's like even the colors, like everything is like. Nothing is just by chance. Like companies pick colors, it's all like in to get these emotions, hormones out of you. And it's like obviously sex sells, so that's what's gonna pop, and so even if it's like thumbnails, it may not be something that you're like aware of, but like, oh, I'm scrolling down, I saw a thumbnail, boom, that image is imprinted there. And like over time that like I realized that put so much like mental fatigue on me. So yesterday was the first day I blocked YouTube. I never thought I could live without YouTube. Let me tell you how crazy it is. Also, this is funny. Funny part and crazy part. So anytime I'm like addicted to something, I block it. So let's say I block like Pornhub or something. I'll use it one time, and then my brain will be like, okay, it's blocked. Maybe 2-3 times I'll type it in, like in the future. But then by that time, I'll know that it's blocked. Okay, YouTube. This was the first time I did it. Subconsciously, even like 10 minutes before we were talking, I'll be working on something. I'll open new tab, type in YouTube, press enter without even thinking about it. And then I made it. So every time I do it, a big picture of David Goggins pulls out. And so it's super funny. So,
I fucking love that. Oh my God. You have no idea how much I fucking love that, bro. Jesus Christ. That's why I love you. That's fucking great. That's so fucking great. Oh my God. That is so great. Wow. Wow. There's not a better picture you could have put there,
yeah,
bro.
no,
Wow. That's fucking so great, bro.
It was just crazy to me because, dude, I cannot. It's crazy. Like instinctively, without even thinking, new tab, YouTube, enter. I was like, damn, how many times have I been on YouTube before this? Like where I didn't even notice. I'm just like, even for a couple seconds scrolling. Oh, I see this. I see, and I was just like, damn, my brain is just constantly like
It's
image,
crazy to
image,
be
image. Yeah.
Like it's crazy to ring the bell and then have Pavlov's dog which starts salivating, you know?
No.
Like you don't know why you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Dude.
Like
Another, I literally thought of that today when, okay, so I've been playing a lot of chess, and I do these puzzles, right? And when you get the puzzle right, there's like a ding sound at the end. Today I played it with, and every time I get it wrong, I'm really sad. I turned the volume off today. When I get it wrong, I wasn't that sad. But when I got it right, I was expecting the ding, nothing came. But I realized the reason I get sad is because of the lack of the ding. But if there's no ding, then it's just a red square on the thing. It means nothing.
Yeah, that's
But
huge.
and I was just like, whoa, that's freaking, dude, dude, these computer motherfuckers know, bro.
Bro, they know. Dude, I fucking just there was this thing called like magic sauce or something like that. It's like this algorithm that Columbia, I think, started. And pretty much what it does is it takes your tweets and then it plugs it into like a personality profile and then which tells you your personality from it, like based off of like the 5 big personality traits called openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, something neuroticism. Anyways, agreeableness. And bro, that shit, like, I was scared with how fucking accurate it was, bro. Like, I was literally fucking scared. Like, I was like, they know me? Like, they got me. Like, you know, this is probably a little algorithm that they, you know, they put on a fucking, what are they, executable and, you know, put out or whatever the fuck you do. And like that, it probably didn't even take that much effort and time. Like, what the fuck are the big algorithms that they don't want anyone to know about look like, bro? Like, they like bro, they predicted that. Like, let me like skim this shit.
It's crazy. They know you just
they know me, bro. Like, I was like, whoa, like my personality is not unique. Like, I'm just a little fucking category for them, bro. Like, that's so crazy. This is what it said. I was just like, wow. So apparently I'm an INTP, which is introverted, intuitive, thinking, perceiving. And this literally just comes from me. Like, I just typed it in my Twitter, took all my tweets, and then created this.
Wow, that's crazy, actually.
And I don't even like tweet that much. I don't tweet that openly. Like, I don't, you know, I didn't think I did, at least.
I wonder if they use likes and retweets or not. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. The thing just like, it had like a tweet count and like, it was like 1, 2, 3, you know, when it's like whatever. It didn't say anything about likes, but it totally could have. I mean, that would at least make me a little bit less scared. But so yeah, anyways, I got introverted, intuitive, thinking, perceiving, which means INTP, I guess is what I am, are quiet, thoughtful, analytical individuals who don't mind spending long periods of time on their own, working through problems and forming solutions. INTPs tend to be less at ease in social situations and the caring professions, although they enjoy the company of those who share their interests. They also tend to be impatient with bureaucracy, rigid hierarchies, and politics prevalent in many professions, preferring to work informally with others as equals. INTP's extroverted intuition often gives them a quick wit, especially with language, and they can diffuse the tension in gatherings by comical observations and references. They can be charming even in their quiet reserve and are sometimes surprised by the high esteem in which their friends and colleagues hold them.
Have you tried that? Have you tried that the Myers-Briggs personality test?
I think that's what it's like using, but no, I've never taken any of those.
Oh, you haven't? There's like one that's like
all bullshit, so like I don't know, but
there's like one that like gives something similar to that, but like
I think it is the Myers-Briggs. I think it uses like the ING.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine's the INTP, I guess.
Okay.
And yeah,
because I remember I got one of something like that. Okay, yeah, that is cool. That's cool. They do it off tweets, so it's sick,
bro. And like that shit was like, I mean, you know, maybe I'm doing confirmation bias and picking out what I want, but there was not a single line I read in there where I was like, that's not me, you know. That's just crazy.
No, shit is crazy.
Scared, bro. I'm Scared.
Yeah. No, and that's why like I was listening to Ben Shapiro, and just for fun I was been so and
Oh, that's why I listen to Ben Shapiro too.
yeah, and he was talking about the Tucker Carlson whole situation that just happened. Did you hear about that by any chance?
I don't think so.
There, he basically just said something about how like the government is like focusing on pregnant women in the military or something, and like he was like, I don't think they should really do that, something along those lines. But there was like a huge backlash against him or something like that. But long story short, he was basically talking about how like, did you see the Grammys this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just kind of nuts because it was like it was honestly because he was just talking about how like it is very different, like how overly sexual it is nowadays, you know. And it's just like not just rap, but he was talking about how the Grammys has been like that for 25, 30 years now from Madonna and stuff. But it's just like, damn, like it's just like part of it is empowering. I can definitely understand how it is empowering for women. I do also think that like I don't think we're elevating people though, you know. I feel like we're like bringing we like, and I think I forgot who said this, but I feel like setting the conditions that men are in as the bar, I feel like is a really shitty thing to do because like where men are at is not great either. You know, I feel like we have to reinvent the bar for both genders. Like you know, and I just feel like we bring each other down. Like we are in such a sexual fueled country where people can't find what they live for, like outside of sex. Like that is what people do things for. They don't have like purpose outside of that. You know, it's like it comes in that like, okay, why do you do anything? Because I don't want to get laid, I want to get pussy, I want to get the finest girl out there. And it's just like that's what life has come down to. And then it's like after that, then what? Which is why people cheat, which is why like that becomes such a central part of everyone's life, like pussy, pussy, fuck, fuck, fuck. It's like, what about other things in life, you know?
What other things, dog?
Like,
No, that's really big facts. And I think that's a really good thing what you said, like setting men as the standard for like what to become is like a terrible place because men are in a shitty place too. Like that's big brain. That's facts, honestly. And like, but you know, I'm honestly not scared about it because I think that like this is very normal of like any type of like change. You know, I think that like change happens like, you know, like you know, I heard somebody say this one time, I can't remember who, but it happens like a thermostat, you know, like it'll you know, it'll like start whatever, like say something's over here, it doesn't just like perfectly come to the point which it should be. Like it like kind of comes over here a little bit, and it activates, and then it comes back to the middle. You know, it's like
interesting.
Like, you know, women were in such a place where they're just like sexuality was so oppressed and suppressed that they've just gone to the complete other side over here, which is like now let's just fucking wop wop wop. You know, like fuck it. Like, and they're gonna be here for a minute. I think, you know, they're gonna be here for a minute, and I think they're gonna slowly start, you know, neutralizing, and hopefully that happens together, you know. That's my hope.
I mean, it's never like, it's never going to be like Armageddon or something like WAP and
Good,
the world.
that's what the conservatives are saying. Like, this is the end of America. This is the end of America.
I never.
Grammys, like, this shit is over. Like, we're done. Our children are fucked. I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's never that serious. People will figure it out. No, but I just, man. What you were saying earlier, I think is a really. I'm gonna keep that from this conversation in mind for sure. Like how like a lot of people don't end up doing what they always wanted to do, you know. And so like keeping that as the norm, or that's what you're supposed to do, is sad. Like,
yeah,
because that is the norm. Like you should give up what you wanted to do for something that's more realistic. Like that's what's like the norm, and that's like actually very sad.
Wait, when did I say that?
No, you know that's not what you said, but you were just talking about how like when you were jumping and you see all the people under you. And
metaphor of mediocrity and shit.
Yeah.
That shit's real, fam. And I'm like, I'm very terrified of mediocrity, which like I think in a lot of ways that is what fuels me. Maybe it's not a good fuel, you know, but like that shit is fuel nonetheless.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, I'll switch to a cleaner alternative, you know, eventually, you know, I'll go from fucking coal to electric, you know, to nuclear, hopefully. But as of right now, like that fear of like literally, bro, seeing most of my friends, not here at least, which is cool, but most of my friends back home, because I grew up in, you know, poverty, you know, poor ass Garden Grove, wherever. Like most of my friends are like in that place where I'm like, oh shit. Because I always wonder, you know, how does someone at my old job, you know, how is someone 33 and they're still like a manager at like Slapfish, which is like a place I work? How is someone like I always use the manager at Vaughn's example, but how is someone a manager at Vaughn's and they're like 40? I'm just like, where does that happen? Like everyone you talk to who is like in 7th to, you know, high school, whatever, they're like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be this. Very rare you see somebody who's like manager at Vaughn's. So like, where is that shit lost? You know, like why do people just let go of that shit? And I'm seeing it like, I mean, even like with Quran, for example, like the entire time he was in college, he talked about how his field, always called it his field, which is cool because I get what he's trying to do, but at the same time, like it's just so funny looking back now because I'm like, you didn't even do anything in that field. But was neuroscience and peak human performance, and like his goal was to create change within those fields. Like that was just it. Like that's like what he wanted to do. And graduated, couldn't find a job, got like some random job like selling like insurance or something like that. And that's like what he's dedicating his life to now. He's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, I'm gonna make $1 million by like the end of like 5 years or something like that. And I'm just like, damn, like you totally gave up on all that peak performance neuroscience shit. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, I don't know. I guess that's not mediocrity by any sense. Like, anybody giving up on their dreams or like their hopes, like because of like something more realistic, like because like they just need money or like they just need this. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, that's depressing. But maybe not. You know, at the end of the day, like they're gonna be fine. You know,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, realistically.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I guess then it comes back to like how okay are you with mediocrity? You know?
Yeah. And should you be okay with mediocrity?
Yeah. Like, is it okay too?
Your brain is gonna justify it. You know, it's gonna be like, we're good. I have like, you know, fucking, I got this like car from like, you know, this year and like, you know, whatever. Like, I have like a nice fucking big tree outside my house. You know, like. They don't have that across the street. Like you'll find something to like, like your reference point for like how you're doing is just going to become something lower, you know?
Yeah. So, it's just always, you're always doing good.
Exactly. So yeah, but you know, being able to like hold on to your, makes me think of this, the rose that grew from concrete, thing that I have in my room. You seen this thing?
Mm-mm.
Do you know about the rose that grew from concrete, Paul?
Yeah. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. You've had that for a while.
I got this. Oh shit. Oh yeah, you know the thing I'm talking about, right? This thing?
Yeah.
Cool. But anyways, I mean to read it, it's did you hear about the rose that grew from concrete? From a crack in the concrete, proving nature's law is wrong. It learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared. And like, one, that's just fucking fire. But two, like by holding on, my favorite line from that is by holding on to dreams is learn to breathe. And I'm just like, that's how I feel, you know, and that's how a lot of times how I feel like mediocrity is. It's almost a form of like suffocation.
Yeah. And I think like to me, the way I define mediocrity is not loving what you do. You know, like to me, that's what I define mediocrity as. Like, if you don't love look, you spent 8 hours sleeping, you better love the fuck out of sleeping. You spent 2 hours eating, you better love the fuck out of eating. And you spent a good chunk of the other time parenting and a chunk of the other time working. Like, you better love the fuck out of all of those. You know what I mean? I feel like
you better love the sacrifice that like what it gives, you know, because like you bet like what you're doing, like you may not love it, but like you better love the outcome, you know?
Exactly. But there's something that fuels you to do what you do, you know, more than just like to me, it's those like people who are just like couch potatoes, or who are just like, I'm going to get through the day so I can go home and sit on the TV, or, you know, just that idea of
like, you know, Friday every single
week. Just, I feel like to me, that's like, even that example you said the way I define success, is even if you are what you were just talking about, like a manager at Convo. I mean, if you love the fuck out of your job and you're like, this is actually what I fucking love doing, like, fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that definition of like success is often, I know the reason I feel that is because I feel like teachers often are given that level of like lack of respect, where you're like, oh, you're just a teacher, like you didn't amount to any level of success. But in my eyes, I'm like, damn, like I feel like teaching is
the definition was this was the example I gave. You can not have money and be successful, but no one's gonna look at someone with money and say they're unsuccessful.
Yeah.
That was more of my definition. But nonetheless, I mean, by this example, someone who's a millionaire and is unhappy every day with what they do would be considered unsuccessful. But yeah, colloquially they wouldn't be called unsuccessful. But totally, like, I mean, the real definition of success like should be if the goal of life is to find, you know, if it's happiness, then it's that. If the goal of life is to like find a suffering that's worth suffering for, then it should be that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess as long as that's so that's actually yeah. So I think that's actually one thing I do. There's three main things I am interested in studying, and one of them is so the big three is standardized testing,
Hmm.
and I've been actually emailing a lot of professors about this. Actually, I want to actually create some sort of standard definition for what the purpose of education is. And I was talking to a lot of professors, and they were talking about that like we don't really even have something like that right now, where like they haven't really talked about and have a conference where everyone's like, what the fuck are we actually doing? Like, why are we educating students? And it's like I would love to introduce some sort of discussion or conversation there where like we come together and actually talk about why are we educating students.
Right.
And then I want to also work on teacher evaluation and teacher preparedness. So those are like the three things I'm really interested in. Like, bro, research is about to be lit, bro. I'm telling you, when we get no, you too, bro. No, you too, bro. Like I'm just saying, when we get to where we need to get to, we're about to be doing some cool shit. We just gotta stay alive. That's why I keep telling my mom, like, I just gotta stay alive to get there. That's it. Yeah, like everything else is about to come. I just can't die. Like I gotta stay alive.
That's such a great thought to have. No, that's amazing. And yeah, I mean, I'm just like, you really got some like great goal set, and I feel like that's gonna really push you through. Like if your literal mentality is like, I can't even die because I got to get this shit done. Like, that's great. That's where you want to fucking be. That's the Goggins picture popping up. Every kind of doubt pops in your mind. I'm really proud of you, man. Honestly, I think you are doing a great job, and like not even by anything that's like, tangible necessarily, but just by where your mind is at and where it's been and the growth that you've I mean the tangible thing is the
and you've seen, bro, and you have seen out of everyone you've seen,
I've seen bro.
You've seen
the growth is exponential.
You've seen, bro. You 100% have seen some. I feel like with most people, like no one knows what you think,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I kind of, especially on that car ride, bro. I think the car ride that we took up to the bay, I think that shit was like a relationship changing, Would you agree?
I gotta be honest with you, dog. Like I told you, I don't have a good connection to my past self because I have a terrible memory. But I do remember a few things we talked about, and I do remember them being.
No, I don't remember what we talked about, but I just remember that was the most vulnerable I had ever been with another dude in my life.
Damn.
I never, yeah.
I appreciate
So
that.
yeah, for sure. I was saying shit I would never say to any human being, bro. Definitely like, cause yeah. But a lot has changed from then. I use that as like a metric now. From like, I was like, wow, okay. I remember I told you some things where I was like, I don't really fuck with these aspects of myself, and I look back now and be like, damn, I don't really, think of myself as having those behaviors anymore, which makes me really happy,
Damn, that's amazing. Now you're like you're growing, man, and it's like it's very noticeable to say the least. Like every time I talk to you, I feel like your beard is just getting thicker. Metaphorically just growing. One day I'm gonna talk to you, just gonna be all beard. I'm like, where the fuck are you, Gotham? You're just gonna be like behind me. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm excited for you to come here, man. I'm excited for us to kick it. I'm excited to be. I'm excited to have more of these conversations because
I have not been having a lot.
Like sipping like liquid Coke with these conversations
every time. Yeah,
it's amazing. But I most of all, dog, I love you, bro.
I love you too, man.
My brother, I love you so much, man. I'm so proud of everything you're doing.
Like, no, you too, bro. Like, honestly, fuck me. Like, honestly, like, I really no, like, bro.
No, fuck me.
No, no, because honestly, it's about it. I'm excited. Like, that's all I can say. Like for you too, man.
Yeah, I'm in the trenches, man. I'm applying. My plan is to apply for PhD next fall. So,
like, dude, think about your come up, bro. Like, think about the come up. That's crazy. Like, your come up is crazy.
I can't even think about it yet. It's I got to get in, and then I feel like I'll be able to like kind of look at it. Like,
you're like, damn, yeah.
Yeah, I was like talking like my stepmom. They're like, he's killing it. He's doing so amazing. Like blah blah. He's just doing a great job. And I was like, what the fuck have I done? Like I haven't done anything. Like look up to me or don't fucking like praise me. Like I haven't done shit. And obviously they're like, no man. You're like, I get it. Like of course I have. It's so amazing. But like, in my head, I feel like I really haven't done shit. Like truly, it's such a strange feeling.
Yeah, no, and yeah, that is some self work. I don't think that one for me too. I mean, I feel like that too, but I don't think that ever actually changes.
Yeah, no, man, that might be facts. Like the second I get into a PhD program, like I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? Like Dr. Kemp? Like, yo, like,
Yeah.
that's just
No,
gonna be wild.
I think completing it is the hard part.
Yeah, no fact.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all hard.
Yeah,
Nonetheless,
it is hard. It is hard.
getting into it is debatably getting into it is harder because
You think so?
you gotta kill it all through college, and then you gotta do all your shit post college to kill it.
That's
And
true.
the PhD itself is like 4 years of like you working on a dissertation. I don't know. Actually, I'm speaking out of my ass. I have no clue. They're both probably hard as shit.
Yeah.
When I'm in there, I'm probably gonna be like, "Hey, Gotham, remember that conversation we had a couple years ago?"
You won't remember it. You.
Yeah, no, that's hey, I'm gonna have this recording.
Yeah,
though.
you'll have this recording though. That's true.
I'll
Yeah.
remember it now. See,
But
if we recorded the conversation up on the bay, all 5 hours, that would have
been nuts. But yeah, no, honestly, like, bro, we have our conversations hit every time. Like, I come out of it with at least one thing where I'm like, I will think about this or be conscious of this, which is all you can ask for any conversation, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, like, just being able to talk to somebody and literally feel like, sort of like reading the books, you know, like
Yeah.
modalities for like your growth, like that's what it's all about, dog.
Yes, that's all that matters.
Like,
Yes.
I want to find this Medium article that I found that kind of talked about the definition of friendship from Aristotle, kind of like what he classified as like a good friendship, and like I think it's our friendship, like, to say the least. Like it truly, like, every aspect of what I consider. Like, he pretty much talked about there's relationships of like utility, relationships of like kind of just like convenience, or no, relationships of pleasure, and then relationships of the good, and then the good relationships that are like just kind of based off of like literally you guys like growing with each other. And I remember like, damn, like that's definitely how I would label. I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Much love, brother. I'm doing keto right now, so I'm about to go eat my rice and cauliflower.
Yum. How's it? You still been eating good though?
I'm probably eating the best I've eaten. Like, I had some bell peppers and avocado earlier. You know, I had some just like.
Dude, avocado hits, bro. I've been eating avocado recently. This shit's so good.
It's so nutritionally packed, bro. Like, you're getting net carbs. You're getting like 3 grams of net carbs, which is pretty much carbs minus fiber, and getting like 21 grams of fat. And then you're getting a bunch of vitamin A, a bunch of vitamin K. Like, it's just like over fucking. It's broken. It's literally a broken ass thing.
Nice.
But yeah, no, for keto it's great because you want a lot of fat, carbs. So yeah, and it's been tough. You get like keto. There's like something called keto flu, which is like when your body's just like deprived of carbs and like doesn't have any energy, and like it's just like, fucker, give us some energy. And you're just exhausted, and like I was feeling like nauseous this morning, and you just never really feel like satisfied. But losing weight pretty quickly, so that's my goal.
That's good.
Yeah, so I'll
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on with me right now. Somebody
nice, man. That's good. I feel like good catch up.
Yeah, bro. Great talking to you, dog. Much love, bro.
Run it back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send you this video. But yeah, I'll definitely. I mean, if I probably won't stay for a month, but if I can stay for like 2-3 weeks, that'd be lit. So definitely, I'll bring my sleeping bag.
Oh yeah, bro. That's
I mean, if you can, yeah, because honestly, I would love to kick it with y'all again.
Oh yeah, bro, that'd be fire.
It's already been almost a year since I moved, which is crazy.
Really?
Actually, probably not. No, I moved in 8, so nah, it's not.
That's still crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 7 months, not that long. A year would be crazy.
Wow, that's so crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy. A lot has happened. Crazy.
It's a year since the first time I got my heart broken, dog.
You've been talking to Big G or what? You been talking to Jay?
Yeah, Jay. Saw him a little bit. And he actually came down here for like 2 weeks not too long ago.
Is he good?
Yeah, he seems a little better mentally. I think, a little time alone has done him pretty good.
Good for him.
The wall.
What'd you say?
I said he threw me through a wall.
For like fun or?
We got hella drunk pretty much, and he wanted to crack my back, and like he just literally picked me up and then tried to crack my back, and we just fell into the wall.
It's too loud.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, how's Gonzo?
You understand that?
No.
I haven't really talked to Gonzo. We caught up one time, like a long time ago, but he seemed to be doing good. To say the least, but yeah.
How's Bree?
Bree's doing good. She's doing good. She's starting her like master's prep program in a couple months. She's getting a boob job, so she's very excited about that.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, she's
How are
getting
you feeling about that?
so.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm happy for her, man. I'm very happy for her. This is like one of her biggest insecurities, if not her biggest insecurity.
Wow.
And she can afford it, and she'll still be perfectly fine, like well off after. And I don't think it's gonna make her happy, but I think it will at least get rid of her insecurity, that insecurity specifically. All I can say is like I have Invisalign because my biggest insecurity is my teeth. And it would always be my biggest insecurity no matter what. So no one could tell me shit about getting rid of it. Like, just love yourself the way you are, man. I'm like, fuck off. Like, so I imagine that's how her boobs are for her. So I'm happy for her, and I'm happy for myself.
Oh yeah, you already copped a feel of fake titties in the car, right?
I did. It felt pretty good. It felt pretty good indeed. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to say the least. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all I can really say.
Nice.
But yeah, man, everybody's doing good. Everybody's holding it down. Everyone's just working. I feel like everyone's in that period where like the pandemic's kind of over, or at least quarantine's kind of over, and everyone's just getting back to like just the grind slowly.
It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
It is weird. I needed it. Like I for sure needed it. Like I'm doing a lot better now that I have structure.
Oh yeah.
But it is weird.
The quarantine is definitely. I have become friends with myself finally. After fucking years.
I think for so many people, quarantine was such a gift to like straight up.
Yeah. So.
In a lot of unique ways. I mean, this whole experience between us, you living here, wouldn't happen for that. So
yeah. Like, no, literally. So much shit.
From that.
Yeah. So much shit. Yeah. But yeah, man. Thanks for talking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Much love, bro. Good talking to you, dog.
Of course. I love you.
All right, later, bro. Love you.
Okay. Bye.